Just coordinates? Hope this helps, Emily. His familiar, gentle scribble. But why GPS numbers? Where did old man Fitzwilliam go? Emily smoothed the crumpled napkin, her heart doing a nervous flutter kick against her ribs. Fitzwilliam. He'd been a fixture at the counter of Mel's diner for almost 6 months. Appeared one rainy Tuesday, dripping wet, nursing a single coffee for hours. Eyes kind but haunted. Clothes clean but undeniably threadbare. He never panhandled, never caused trouble. Just sat quietly, sometimes reading a tattered paperback novel, sometimes just staring out the window with a profound sadness that tugged at Emily's heartstrings. She'd learned his name was Fitzwilliam. Just Fitzwilliam, he'd offered with a shy smile, during one slow afternoon shift. He spoke intelligently, if sparingly, about books, about the changing seasons, about the stray cat that sometimes slept near the diner's back steps. He never spoke about his past, deflected personal questions gently but firmly. It was clear he was homeless, living rough somewhere nearby, but he maintained a quiet dignity that Emily respected. She often slipped him an extra muffin, refilled his coffee without charge when Mel wasn't looking, occasionally packed up leftover soup, going to waste anyway, for him to take when he left each evening around closing time. Small kindnesses. She told herself it was nothing, just basic human decency. But she felt a connection to Fitzwilliam, a quiet understanding passing between them in shared glances and brief conversations amidst the diner's clatter. He felt safe, familiar somehow, like a favorite old book found in an unexpected place. Then yesterday he wasn't there. His usual counter stool remained empty all day. Emily felt a pang of worry. Had he moved on? Found a shelter? Or had something happened to him? The regulars asked about him. Even Mel grumbled. Quiet one, wasn't he? Hope he's all right. Today, still no Fitzwilliam. As Emily wiped down the counter after the lunch rush, her hand brushed against something tucked deep into the crevice between the counter edge and the napkin dispenser near Fitzwilliam's usual spot. It was the crumpled napkin. His handwriting was unmistakable. Neat, slightly old-fashioned cursive, different from the hasty scribble of the coordinates themselves. Emily, the note read. Thank you for your kindness. Hope this helps. Fitzwilliam. Below the message, written quickly, almost frantically, in a different, bolder print. A string of numbers. Latitude and longitude. GPS coordinates. Emily stared. At the numbers, her brow furrowed. Hope this helps? Helps with what? What did a set of map coordinates have to do with anything? Where did they lead? And why would Fitzwilliam leave this for her? It felt cryptic, mysterious, and slightly urgent. Her shift ended, but Emily couldn't shake the image of the napkin, the strange coordinates. Fitzwilliam's sudden disappearance now felt less like him moving on, and more like something else, something that prompted him to leave this strange, potentially significant message. Driven by a curiosity that outweighed her usual caution, Emily pulled out her phone. She carefully typed the coordinates into her map app. The pin dropped. Not somewhere random in the city. Not a shelter or a known homeless encampment. It landed squarely on a remote patch of wooded land about 20 miles west of town, seemingly in the middle of nowhere. An area known locally as Black Creek Woods. Mostly undeveloped state land, dense forest, hiking trails that were rarely used. Why there? What could possibly be at that specific spot? Emily hesitated. This felt crazy. Chasing coordinates left by a homeless man she barely knew. It could be nothing, a prank, a mistake, or it could be something important. Fitzwilliam's parting message. His way of communicating something he couldn't say directly. She thought about his kind eyes, his quiet dignity, the unspoken connection she'd felt. He wouldn't leave a meaningless riddle. This meant something. She had to know what. The next morning, her day off, Emily packed a small backpack with water, snacks, a flashlight, and a first aid kit. She borrowed her roommate's slightly more reliable car and drove towards Black Creek Woods. The paved road turned to gravel, then to a barely there dirt track swallowed by towering pines and dense undergrowth. Cell service vanished bars ago. The woods felt deep, silent, isolated. She parked where the track became impassable, checked the coordinates on her phone again. Thankfully, the map had cached, and started hiking, following the GPS arrow deeper into the forest. The air grew cooler beneath the dense canopy. Sunlight struggled to penetrate, dappling the mossy ground in shifting patterns. It was eerily quiet, the only sounds her own footsteps crunching on fallen leaves and the occasional chirp of an unseen bird. The GPS indicated she was getting closer. Less than half a mile now, through thick stands of ferns, over fallen logs. Her breath grew ragged. Doubt gnawed at her. What was she doing out here alone? What if this was some kind of trap? Fitzwilliam seemed harmless, but how well did she really know him? Then, the GPS indicated she'd arrived. She stood in a small, natural clearing, sunlight filtering down through a break in the trees. It looked ordinary, just woods, trees, rocks, ferns, nothing remarkable. Disappointment washed over her. Was that it? Had she come all this way for nothing? She scanned the clearing again more carefully this time. Her eyes caught something unnatural. A patch of ground near the base of a large, ancient oak tree looked disturbed. The leaves were scuffed away, the soil darker, slightly mounded, as if recently turned over. Heart pounding now, Emily approached cautiously. Using a sturdy stick, she began probing the soft earth. The stick hit something hard just a few inches down. Not a rock, metal. Kneeling, she used her hands to scrape away the dirt. Her fingers closed around a cold, hard object. She pulled it free. It was a small, watertight metal box, heavy for its size. Tarnished but clearly well made. Not old and rusted, but deliberately weathered or camouflaged. It wasn't locked. With trembling fingers, Emily opened the lid. Inside, nestled on protective foam padding, wasn't treasure or cash. It was a collection of items that made no immediate sense. A bundle of letters tied with a faded ribbon. A single antique silver locket. A small leather-bound diary. And a thick sealed manila envelope with no markings. This was it. The midpoint. Twist. Fitzwilliam hadn't led her to a place. He'd led her to a cache. His hidden possessions. Things he couldn't carry. Things he needed kept safe. But why give her the coordinates? Why entrust his secrets to a diner waitress? She opened the locket first. Inside were two tiny, exquisitely painted miniature portraits. One showed a beautiful young woman with kind eyes remarkably similar to Fitzwilliam's. The other, Emily gasped. It was Fitzwilliam himself, but decades younger. Dressed not in rags, but in the uniform of a prestigious university professor. Sharp, confident, a world away from the broken man she knew. Professor Fitzwilliam. She opened the diary next. The handwriting matched the note on the napkin. Fitzwilliam's elegant script. The entries spanned years, detailing a life of academic achievement, research breakthroughs in theoretical physics, a happy marriage tragically cut short by illness, and then a growing obsession. He wrote about a discovery, a theoretical model with potentially world-altering implications, something about clean energy, limitless power. He wrote about powerful corporations trying to steal his research, about threats, about colleagues being silenced or discredited. He wrote about needing to disappear, to protect his work, to find a safe haven until he could release it ethically, safely. He wasn't just homeless. He was a brilliant scientist in hiding, guarding, revolutionary knowledge. The letters confirmed it. Correspondence with international physicists, hushed warnings from trusted colleagues, veiled threats from corporate lawyers representing energy conglomerates. Fitzwilliam wasn't paranoid. He was hunted. Finally, Emily picked up the sealed manila envelope. It felt heavy, official. What final secret did it hold? She carefully broke the seal. Inside wasn't more research. It was a birth certificate and a letter. The birth certificate was for Emily Sarah Fitzwilliam, born 32 years ago. Mother listed as deceased. Father, Dr. Alistair Fitzwilliam. Emily's blood ran cold. Her name, her age. Her mother had died shortly after childbirth. Her father. She'd always been told he was a traveling salesman who died in a car crash before she was born, leaving her orphaned, raised by distant relatives who knew little about him. Alistair Fitzwilliam, the kind, sad, homeless man she served coffee. 2. The brilliant physicist who left her coordinates to his hidden life. He wasn't just Fitzwilliam, he was her father. The realization struck her with the force of a physical blow. He hadn't just been watching her from his counter stool. He'd been watching over her, keeping his distance to protect her from the danger. That stalked him, but unable to stay away completely. His kindnesses weren't random. They were the stifled gestures of a father yearning to connect with the daughter he couldn't acknowledge. The letter confirmed everything, written in his familiar hand, addressed to her. He explained the danger, the need to disappear, his heartbreak at leaving her, his hope that one day he could return. He wrote of watching her grow from afar, proud of the kind, compassionate woman she'd become. He explained that giving her the coordinates was a contingency. If something happened to him, if he vanished permanently, she would find the truth, find his research, detailed in the diary, and perhaps fulfill his dream of using it for good. His disappearance wasn't just him moving on. It likely meant his enemies had finally caught up to him. The hidden truth wasn't just Fitzwilliam's identity or the buried box. It was Emily's entire life story, rewritten in a sun-dappled clearing. She wasn't just a waitress. She was the daughter of a hunted genius, the inheritor of a dangerous legacy, left with coordinates not just to a location, but to a past and a potential future she never knew existed. The weight of the metal box in her lap felt immense, holding not just letters and a diary, but the burden of her father's life, his secrets, and perhaps his last hope. What incredible secrets can hide behind the faces of the forgotten? And how can a simple act of kindness unlock a past that changes everything? Drop your theory in the comments and subscribe for more stories where the truth is hidden in the most unexpected places.